All right, so it looks like we got ourselves a big announcement today, or at least somewhat of an announcement from Creative Assembly. They essentially went through and explained to us, hey, here's what's been going on with Mortal Empires. Here's what's been going on with Norsca. And here's what we've got kind of planned for the rest of the year. Just to kind of start off with just, I guess, a hard and fast opinion here. I think that this was a really much needed post. I think this should have been honestly a little bit earlier in the year. I could have stood for this maybe a month or two ago. A lot of people have a lot of issues with the Mortal Empires launch and with the Total War Warhammer 2 launch as a whole. Me personally, I don't really have much of an issue with the Total War Warhammer 2 launch. I'm from the days of Total War Total War Rome 2 to Rome 2 Total War 2 War Rome Total War, whatever the hell it is. I'm from those days where, you know, it was just a really rough release. And to me, Total War Warhammer 2 came out pretty soundly. In fact, I could have stood for Mortal Empires coming out in 2018. In fact, if they had just said, hey, we patched Total War Warhammer 2 to have the multiplayer to have all of the factions, great, cool, that's all I need. I mean, Tur and I were actually talking about that. Like, imagine us just doing quick battles with nonstop 4 races. I'd off myself. But they gave us at least a timeline of what this is going to look like. And because I personally, I've been embroiled in the Vortex campaign. I think Mortal Empires, while a really cool idea, doesn't overly capture my eye because it cuts out a lot of what was added in Total War Warhammer 2. And with that, a lot of what interests me a lot in Mortal Empires is gone. I mean, I've played through all of the old world and all of the Top of the Badlands enough times to know that, okay, well, it's the same old shit with different character or different races. I'd rather play through more of the new world than the old world. But the biggest kind of letdown here is the delay of the 30th anniversary update. As we can see here, here's their big timeline for December, January, and May. And May, we see right here, this update will include Norsca and its full roster, updates to various aspects of the race to make them appropriate and relevant, as well as the 30th birthday Regiments of Renown. Ooh, sick burn. That's something that we really, really need. I think the 30th birthday Regiments of Renown help keep Chaos extremely competitive. You know, you've got the Flaming Swords of Win, or the Chaos Knights. Those guys are rad and they're really strong. Bretonia is in a really terrible power vacuum right now, and it needs those Regiments of Renown to help really kind of add it to its competitiveness. And especially with Beastmen too. Beastmen, while really strong on their own, really thrive from the kit kind of, well, not necessarily kit, but a lot of the competitive edge that the Regiments of Renown give when you've got so many other factions that can benefit from them. And I mean, I'm really excited to see when we're going to get the Total War Warhammer 2 races, all the Vortex races, Regiments of Renown. I'm jazz hand on those. But we did get some good kind of clarification on this. You know, we will be getting Norsca in May. That's what that says right there. So that is unfortunate. They did break it down for us, saying like, hey, here's where we screwed up. We were kind of the masters of doing this multiple branch kind of a file that we were inputting data into, and we got a little cocky with it. And we got a little cocky when we went to do Total War Warhammer 2, and that kind of bit us in the ass. So, hey, totally appreciate that kind of transparency, that kind of, in all honesty, frankness. Cool. Oh, totally all right with it. We all make mistakes. The game's not in any way less playable to me because they made a mistake. I mean, I still got all the Vortex campaign to just go crazy on. I know that a lot of people play a lot more hours in a week than I do, so I can understand why they would be upset. It makes total sense to me as well. So understand both sides of these coins. But it's good to know that if I scroll up here to December, the Reprisal update rollout for Mortal Empires is coming. And we've also got a new experimental game mode coming, and I don't know what that is. They did kind of say at the very top that Creative Assembly released a new Halo Wars 2, so maybe we'll be getting an experimental Halo, you know, King of the Hill in this Total War. Who knows? That could be totally terrifying. But with their experiment, I wasn't expecting a game mode. I thought experiment was kind of like their cheeky way of saying that we're going to add some Skaven races, maybe some Scryer races, some Scryer units like a la the Rattling Gun or the Warplock Jezzails, 2 things that we desperately want, maybe more so than need in the Skaven roster. Skavens are pretty damn competitive right now. But I'm excited to see what this new game mode is going to be. Maybe we're going to get some historical battles. I'm not really sure if that's what they're talking about when they say game mode, or if this is going to be a multiplayer exclusive game mode. Obviously, we don't have a lot of details on that, but we did get more news on this later in the week. Typical kind of cryptic description. Speaking of cryptic, January, we get the first campaign pack, and this was and this is what kind of just rustles my jimmies, as they say in France. It was initially planned for this year. So my kind of thoughts of, hey, we're going to get Tomb Kings in 2017, don't worry, guys, was on point. I mean, had they not had this giant blunder with the Mortal Empire's integration of Norsca and everything like that, then we would have had an announcement, or at least a bare minimum an announcement of the Tomb Kings, because you can see right here, not to seem too cryptic. Oh, you cheeky fucking Brits. Clearly kind of a big nod to Tomb Kings, and we've seen a lot of them kind of teasing us back and forth about it. Like one person had said on Twitter, like, hey, aren't you guys forgetting something? And they responded back with a skull and a question mark, like, do you mean Tomb Kings? So what's really cool here is that they say right here is it's going to be added to both Eye of the Vortex and the Mortal Empires campaign. I had thought that I had heard somewhere, that's like the most removed sentence of saying I heard a rumor, basically, that all new races added to Total War Warhammer 2 will be exclusive to Mortal Empires. I'm really glad to see them in the Eye of the Vortex. To have a 5th race in that race for the Vortex is going to be a lot more fun, in my opinion, because it's going to add a little bit of especially on the Southlands, it's going to add a lot of different kind of interaction. You know, you've got those two undead factions here, but now we're going to get a pretty crazy one in the Tomb Kings. So we're going to go over a lot of that roster here shortly. Hopefully, I might be holding off on that till we get the official note, like, hey, yeah, it's coming in January, because then it's kind of like, hey, here's what to expect in the January launch. We'll see how that kind of plays itself out here. But overall, I'm pretty excited about this little update here. It is kind of a letdown. A lot of people kind of look at this as bad news, but I'd rather have a timeline or expectation than kind of wondering, like waking up every day, like crazily going to Reddit to go, okay, what was the announcement for today? Oh, now I know. In December, look for the Reprisal update. In January, look for them to talk about the first campaign pack, Tomb Kings. And I know in the 5th month of the year, 6 months from now, to expect Norsca. And there's no telling what's going to fill these gaps. They even kind of talk about that, you know, hey, these are our projected timelines for things. There's going to be probably something in between January and May that's going to tide us over to that May release. It might even be the Total War Warhammer 2 race, Regiments of Renown. We don't know. Total War has been, Creative Assembly and Total War as a whole has been very good about delivering a lot of pretty much constant content to us. If we think about ever since the launch of Total War Warhammer 2, we've had something pretty regular here, right? Every 2 to 3 weeks, we've had either an announcement or a launch. We've had Total War Warhammer 2, then we've had Mortal Empires, then we've had Empire Divided, we've had the Britannia saga talked about. You know, we've gotten a lot of excitement out of this company, and it's pretty remarkable, because a lot of companies will just kind of say, it's coming in 18 months. Get ready, like 18-second teaser trailer where it's just you see a hard nipple like mine, like give me a little bit more. And this, I think, kind of paints that at least that kind of nice look in front of, or road, paves a nice road for us. But if you are interested in this, I'll post a quick link in this. It does kind of go over in this little portion right here. Mike talks about, hey, here's how we're going to describe what happened here, where he basically goes through and describes where they went wrong with the coding and everything like that, because he was basically saying, like, you know, it was actually Norsca itself is the thing that broke it. We also wanted to make Norsca really interesting, unique to play as. So there was also more in the way of bespoke code from Norsca than we originally intended. So they're basically saying that they rebuilt and made a lot of Norsca from scratch, rather than kind of skinning over Empire, skinning over Chaos. So I think as a result, that made things a little tricky coming into Warhammer 2, which already has a lot of custom animations, custom everything for the most part. It's a new game. That's how that works. But overall, guys, I'm pretty stoked here. You guys let me know what your opinions are of this whole entire announcement. I know a lot of you are pretty upset about it. Some of you are kind of tepid, and a lot of you are like, hey, at least I got an idea, and kind of more in my boat. I'm pretty easygoing with a lot of this stuff, but feel free to comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. We'll be definitely doing some more content geared towards this January campaign pack as we roll towards it. We still have plenty more to talk about when it comes to Tomb Kings. Worry not. But If like I said, if you do have anything or anything you want to add that I maybe missed on, go ahead and let me know here in the comments section. But thanks for watching tonight, guys. I was hoping to get this out earlier, but the day was a bit crazy. But have a good one and take care.